the world right now. Let's go to our 97.3 ESPN columnist. He writes his Extra Points column on our website, longtime journalist in the area, Dave Weinberg, and find out his thoughts. Dave, you were ahead of the curve. You wrote a column earlier this week and said, hey, this basketball tournament, this shouldn't be continued. Come on, NJSIA, and they must have read it and listened to you.
Well, I like to think so. I don't know. They probably came to the decision on their own, but it was just clear to me that once every other sports organization, professional, college, even most high school organizations had halted their sports. I just didn't understand why the NJSIA was even thinking about trying to continue the state tournament. I mean, I understand it needs a big deal to the kids to win a state championship, but I think their health and well-being are much more important than that.
I think Larry White was saying that they were so close, too. I mean, they thought they could get to the finish line, and they just ran out of time.
Well, you know what? So what? I don't mean to be callous about it, but why? So you win a South Jersey title instead of a state title. There's no shame in that. It's no less important, and these are just special circumstances in an extraordinary time, and I just didn't understand why they dragged their feet on. I understand they wanted to finish it. I would probably think that there were some financial implications there as well, but it was pretty clear that that was just not going to happen. I didn't understand why they even played those games on Thursday or Wednesday, was it? Wednesday or Thursday? They had the Ocean City girls played in the state semifinals. That made no sense to me at all.
Right, Thursday night. Do you feel bad though, Dave? Dave Weinberg, our guest here on the Pete Thompson Show, for a school like Wildwood Catholic, who has 2 Division I recruits and a team for the ages, if you will, and we're trying to have this special season, and that's it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I feel bad for anyone who was in that position, not just Wildwood Catholic, but like Ocean City Girls, St. Augustine Prep. They were, one or two. They were one away from winning a state title, and it is a special achievement. Don't get me wrong. It's great to have that banner hanging in your rafters, but I just don't. It just wasn't going to happen, and I think they can hold their heads high with winning those sectional championships, and that's a great accomplishment as well.
And you write on our website 973 ESPN that in the beginning you also kind of thought like, this coronavirus stuff is hype, but your mind has changed.
Yeah, I did. I mean, I full disclosure, I thought it was kind of overblown. I didn't understand why everybody was panicking. I thought it was just a virus, if you will, that would, or similar to the flu, that would, if you just wash your hands more often and pay attention to your surroundings, I thought everybody would be fine. But I was clearly misinformed, and once the NBA cancels, suspends their season, and March Madness is canceled, the Masters moves their tournament or suspends their tournament to whenever. It was clear that this was a worldwide and nationwide pandemic, and drastic measures had to be taken.
Dave Weinberg with us here, and Dave, since you mentioned college basketball, the proposal out there that the NCAA has already come out and said if you're a spring sports athlete, they'll extend that eligibility. But how do you feel about the Division I seniors out there, the men's basketball players with the March Madness being called off? The exact phrasing is that the NCAA will grant an extra year of eligibility for student athletes who participated in spring sports. Is that enough, though? Because there are some basketball players who didn't realize that they were playing their last game.
Yeah, I think that they should be given an extra year of eligibility as well. I mean, that's only the fair and just thing to do. You work 4 years, sometimes 5, to try and reach that dream of competing in March Madness, to be able to cut down that net, at the end of your regional, or even, at the end of the NCAA championship for some of them. And yeah, they deserve that opportunity to try it again. I mean, circumstances were such that it just wasn't able to do that. It was no fault of their own, so I don't see how they should be penalized for it. I think that they should also be given an extra year of eligibility. Now, granted, they played their entire season pretty much, but still, I think they should be given another opportunity to do it.
How do you feel about local high school spring sports then, and what do you think the future lies for them? I mean, because obviously they're going to be delayed from their start. Are they going to be able to get anything in?
That's going to be a tough call, Pete. I don't know how how the NJSAA is going to approach it. I guess there might be a possibility that they cancel spring sports. I would hope not, but I guess there's going to be delayed. I guess they're going to have an abbreviated season, maybe, if that's the case. If they do go ahead and continue, I'm sure they'd want to have South Jersey and state championships held. So I guess they would just have an abbreviated regular season and maybe try and go on from there.
Let's loop back to March Madness for a second, because you tweeted out, and I thought of this immediately too. The Atlantic City Casino Sportsbooks, it used to just be Vegas. This was one of Vegas's biggest weekends, March Madness. Those first 2 days of March Madness, people would plan trips around that when it's just constant basketball and upsets all the time, and all that's off the books now, and that's going to make an impact on wager. What are you going to wager on? There's nothing going on.
Yeah, that's true. I guess the length on your show, I don't know. It's a shame that Atlantic City sports books are in this position. This was one of the few events, along with the Super Bowl, that really captures the public's attention. That's when you get people that are even non-sports fans. They're going to put down a nickel or a dime or two on trying to see who can win the NCAA championship. The sports books would have been packed. It's just I feel really bad for them, because this is, like I said, this is one of the events that you pretty much plan your entire year on. I mean, casino properties are packed, the hotels are packed, restaurants, and to have that taken away that's going to be a real economic blow to them.
So Dave Weinberg's with us. My Saturday Twitter question is up, and I wrote, with almost all of the sports world shutting down because of the coronavirus, which sport will you miss the most and why? And you would answer that how?
The Masters, if they don't hold it. Yeah, I know I'm probably in the minority. I shouldn't say just them. I mean, I'm a big sports junkie, and baseball is really, the delay of the opening day, that's always been a special time. I always try to make it a point to go to the Phillies home opener every year, and whenever that, maybe I'm sure that'll happen eventually, but there's just something special about going there in early April. But the Masters is the one that really, I'm really hoping they find a way to play that, because that's it's one of those iconic historic events. To see the colors and the pageantry and just the best players in the world gathering at Augusta. I plan my entire weekend around that, and it's a shame that it's not going to be held. I guess I'll have to watch I'm going to have to join my wife and watch HGTV. I guess.
Netflix, buddy, Netflix. There was a year at TV 40 where I had vacation time, and I scheduled to have off Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and of course I was already off Saturday, Sunday, so I could fully enjoy the par 3 tournament the way that I like to watch it on ESPN, and fully watch first round, second round, all those. That's how I'm right with you with the Masters. And again, hopefully they're able to play it. The Boston Marathon's been postponed. Almost everything but UFC. Are you surprised at UFC's stance?
I'm stunned, quite frankly. I don't put anything past Dana White. That's just the kind of guy that he is. But when every other organization has either canceled or postponed or delayed their events, it makes no sense for the UFC to do this. I guess it's just part publicity stunt, part Dana White's affiliation with President Trump. Maybe, I don't know. They seem to have a pretty close bond, but I just don't. I don't agree with it at all.
Now that we were able to get some boxing in last week, and you can read about the boxing that took place, why don't you break down a little bit of what happened last week at Bally's of Atlantic City? We had some nice boxing results, and I know you love local cards.
Yeah, we did. It was a really good event, and it was nice to see Bally's get back in the boxing game. They've been kind of out of it for a couple of years due to economic problems, but they seem to be back, and they got off to a really good start. It was a Philadelphia-based promoter named called Hard Hitting Promotions, and they brought the card there. It was a really good event, especially the main event with Gabriel Pham from Pleasantville taking on Derek Webster from Glassboro. Really exciting, both huge contingent of fans from both sides, and terrific fight. And it was a big win for Pham to be able to pull out a victory over Webster, because Webster was kind of kind of known as a fringe contender, top 15 type, and for Gabriel to go ahead and beat him, that was a big win for him. Also, Isaiah Selden, son of former heavyweight champion Bruce Selden, was on the card, and he needed a big win after losing 2 of his last 3. So, and he bounced back with a second round TKO. So that was a big win for him as well.
Dave Weinberg
spent a big win for Atlantic City too.
Oh, very much so. Yes, the fact that any local card is a good thing. Bally's getting back into the game is a good thing. I know you and I both hope at some point that Boardwalk Hall will host a fight again, not in the Adrian Phillips Ballroom. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but in the big hall is what we're hoping for. Fingers crossed. Of course, right now a different week where you had written too that it was scheduled to return on March 19th because Lou DiBella was going to bring a card to Showboat. You see what all the local properties are doing now, and Hard Rock is closed down all events. Borgata's closed down most of the social gathering places. You can still gamble though for now.
Yeah, there you go. There's always 3-card poker, craps, blackjack, those kind of things. So there's still plenty of ways to entertain yourself if you need to.
3-card.
I wanted to point out real quick how bad I feel for the MAC tournament.
Yes,
The fact that they had, fought so hard and then planned months and months and months for this to come to Atlantic City, for them to have to cancel that was a real shame as well.
Well, and here's the thing with the MAC tournament, too. They were all in, Dave. Don't you agree? I mean, they didn't just say, absolutely, we're going to host this here. They came down and did their due diligence to reach out to, like, Texas Avenue School or to reach out to the local elementary schools to have the mac and cheese night where they were going to have local restaurants bring in the best mac and cheese. I mean, they had gone the extra mile, even maybe more so than the Atlantic 10 ever did when the Atlantic 10 tournament was around, to really try and establish themselves and get the local hoop fans out. And, hopefully this isn't, a sign of things to come, and we can get in a situation where next year it's all smooth sailing, because that was going to be an unbelievable weekend of basketball, and that got taken away from us.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, you're right there. They went above and beyond to try and establish their presence in Atlantic City, like you mentioned, hosting various events at elementary schools. They had some other events planned in addition to basketball and even the esports tournament. To see that was a real shame, and hopefully, they'll be able to come back and make Atlantic City their permanent home.
Well, we'll leave you with this. So last Saturday you went to the boxing, but that was at night. In the daytime, you were at the wrestling, and a couple of female wrestlers had a pretty good showing.
Yes, they did. Yep. Joelle Klein from Lower Cape May, and I forget how to pronounce the girl's name from mainland. But
Georgiani, Amira Georgiani. I'll help you out, buddy.
Go. Very good. Thank you, Pete. They both made it to the finals. Unfortunately, the matches didn't go their way, but they finished second, which is a tremendous accomplishment for them. I mean, to be recognized as one of the top 2 wrestlers in your weight class in the entire state is a fantastic feeling, and they just started girls wrestling last year as a varsity sport that would have a competition at Boardwalk Hall right alongside the boys, and it was a tremendous event, and it was great to see those girls accomplish what they did.
Dave Weinberg with us each week here on the Pete Thompson Show, and Dave, I was kidding with Mike McGarry earlier. I said I'm not sure what we'll talk about next week. Maybe it'll be top 10 favorite sports movies or something like that. But we'll try to have you on again next week, and we'll figure out where we're at that time.